Alright folks, it is time for the long-awaited Redfield scope review. The Redfield Revolution 4-12 by 40mm scope from Redfield. Let's get started. Alright, the Redfield Revolution by Redfield, the 4-12 by 40mm objective model. I have two of them on each of my main rifles. The Remington, I shoot the Remington quite a bit, but not as much as I do the M1A. In my opinion, they're probably some of the best low-end, beginner level entry scopes you could get. Say if you want to get into magnified optics with a Crosshair, magnified optics, and you're a novice, this would be a good place to start because these hold zero pretty well. The clicks on the turrets are pretty precise, and once you get them set up and they're all solid to the rifle and you have them just the way you want them, they hold zero pretty much the whole time. I mean, you don't have to really check. I mean, I did have a problem the other day with my 243, but that was mostly just the ammo. These are some pretty good scopes for the price. They're not very expensive. I have the price from Optics Planet for this particular model here written down. And on Optics Planet they retailed for $229.49. And I believe when we got these, the price on them was a lot lower. I can't quite remember. I wrote some specs down for the Redfield Revolution here, the 4-12 model. I'm just going to be focusing on the 4-12 model. I do not have any of the other models, so we're just focusing on the 4-12 by 40. The objective lens diameter is 40 millimeters. Tube diameter is 1 inch. Adjustment click value on the turrets is 0.25 MOA. Adjustment range, the up and down and left and right on the turrets, is 50 MOA. The weight is 13.1 ounces or 0.8 pounds, not even a pound, under a pound in weight. They're pretty lightweight scopes. Eye relief range is 3.7 to 4.9 inches back here from your eye to the objective, the eyepiece. Length is 12.3 inches. The color is matte. Crosshair type is just regular crosshair. Just a traditional crosshair, no mil dots. I do believe they have an AccuRange reticle. Adjustment type is MOA. Exit pupil, the range is 3.5 to 8.9 inches. And the optical coating, vapor disposed multi-coated illuminator lens system. And I must say the glass through these is pretty clear. And it shows the target up pretty good at 100 yards and greater. Alright, I figured I would let you all see the crosshairs there. That is the crosshair. It's just a regular old crosshair. Nothing real fancy, just plain, vertical, horizontal line. And for basic use, if you're not planning to do a whole lot fancy and you just have like a 100 yard, 200 yard zero, just get your target lined up right where them two meet, the vertical and horizontal line meet, and you pretty much be hitting dead on every time. Yep, very simple, very easy to use, pretty basic. The click value on the turrets is 1 click equals 1/4 MOA, and that's the same for both. Naturally, of course, they're both the same rifle scope. Turning the turrets. There is no audible click, but you can feel and confirm that you have moved the turret when you turn one of the turrets with your fingers. See, I bump it down and then bump it right back up. They're pretty stiff. They don't move very easy. So that is to prevent them from being bumped off zero. Which of course they have the caps on top of them, but even if you had the cap off and say like you nudged or bumped the rifle, they're not getting off zero pretty easy that way. The magnification ring is very stiff. Goes from 4 to 12. But once you get it set to a magnification, it ain't going to get bumped off of it. Say if you set it to 6 and you were to say like nudge the rifle or something, it ain't going to move to like 8 or 7 there. It'll stay on 6. And some people might see this as a bad thing, that you know, maybe you need to adjust your magnification quickly. Well, if you get a hold of it and you move it real tight like that, it moves pretty decently, but it stays solid on one number very well too. I haven't had a problem you know, quickly switching from one magnification to another. Although in most cases, if I'm going to be in a spot where I need to shoot a target, I'm probably going to be on 4 and stay there, or 8. These are not tactical scopes. They're more of a hunting scope type fashion. So they're not going to be, you know, tactical on their whole magnification. But that's alright too. I mean, if you wanted to leave it on 8 and not have to worry about it getting bumped off 8, it'll stay on 8 until you physically get a hold of it and move it to say 12 or 10 or whatever magnification you need it to be on. Pretty good hunting scope. That's pretty much the primary use for one of these. Alright, I said that these are mostly just hunting scopes, and they are, you know, that's pretty much their basic performance, you know, their niche in rifle scopes. They make good hunting scopes. You know, 4 to 12, that's a good hunting magnification. Very rarely in my area do you get deer kills out past 300 yards, and both of these scopes on either of these rifles are very good for taking out deer. The optical clarity at low light is pretty good. You know, a tactical scenario, you could use these rifle scopes in a tactical scenario. Say if you needed to, you know, just have a basic scope, and 4 to 12, you know, you have 4 for closer range and then 12 for longer distance. But say you needed something that was a little bit closer range, you know, a scope that could back out to like 3. Well, Redfield has several different versions of the Revolution. They have a 3 to 9 by 40 millimeter model, 3 to 9 by 50 millimeter model, 4 to 12 by 40 millimeter model that I have. They have a 2 to 7 by 33 millimeter model, and then they have a 3 to 9 by 40 millimeter tactical model, which has a mil-dot style reticle. I'm not sure about the 2 to 7 by 33 millimeter. I didn't look up it at all. I just wrote down the different models they have of the Revolution, and I'm not sure if the 2 to 7's a long eye relief or short, you know, standard model like this. But I kind of think it's like this, but I'm not sure. But that is an option, a 2 to 7 by 33 millimeter rifle scope. Considering, you know, target practice and shooting at closer distances, I've not had a problem with the Redfield on my M1A. you know, semi-automatic quick follow-up shots at closer distances. When we went to my buddy's place for the 4th of July, he set up a bunch of clay pigeons. And I'd say probably about 50-yard line, maybe 40-yard line somewhere. We weren't very far away. And I was able to nail 3 of them with this only on 4 power on my M1A. Going from left to right, I'll put in footage of that if I can find it.
Yeah.
Alright, got clay pigeons set up there. The yellow I'm going to try and shoot all 4 of them. Got 3 by that hay bale and then 1 over there by the metal barrel. Oh, I nipped it. 4 rounds. Well, I killed 3, basically.
Basically.
Yep. So, for a tactical scenario, these aren't ideal. These would not be ideal tactical scopes, but you could use them if you just if for closer range targets, you know, kept it on 4 power, and then you have the ability to crank it up to 12 for longer distance targets. You know, you've all seen me hit steel at 250 yards with these, no sweat. Yeah, I believe it was 250, 250, something like that. I've hit that AR-500 steel all day long with the M1A, and that wasn't even with ammo that my rifle was tuned for. I was doing like holdovers. I had to hold high and right, and because the bullets were hitting low left at 250 yards, and I just held on that bottom post of the reticle, you know, and to the right a little bit, and it was hitting it all day long. So you can do some holdovers with these. Not ideal for very long distance holdovers, but you can in fact do some holdover shooting with these Redfield scopes. They don't have a mil dot system or mils or any of that. They're just straight 4-plex, you know, traditional crosshairs, but I've been able to do holdovers with my M1A. So while hunting, for the hunting rifle is their main purpose, they can be used in the tactical scenario if need be. Is what I'm getting at. Alright, let's talk durability. Durability of the Redfield Revolution. And some of the minor problems I've had. The durability of this scope is pretty good. At my uncle's cabin land area out at the church farm, we call it the church farm, there's like 3 structures on the farm. There's the main cabin, the old cabin, and then the shelter house. And the shelter house is in the middle because it used to belong to a church group way back in like the 1980s, and there's a concrete floor in the shelter house. It's got like a roof over top of it. It's like a pavilion building is what it is. But anyway, me and my dad, way back when, this has been a couple of years ago, we was out like squirrel hunting, you know, just scouting, not really doing anything, just had our 22 rifles and was walking along. And I set the CZ 452 down on a picnic table or something, just leant it up against it. And I can't remember if my dad or if it was me, one of us bumped it, and the CZ fell right on top of one of these CZ or Redfield Revolutions. Fell right on top of one of these Redfield Revolutions. Right on top of the turret, you know, smacked the objective around. I mean, the rifle literally, when it fell on the scope, it bounced off the concrete and tumbled and landed on it again. You know, just one of your doomsday scenarios, like, oh Lord, I just dropped my nice rifle and on the scope of all things, you know, not even on the barrel or on the stock, you know, I dropped it right on the scope. And then, you know, we panicked and picked it up. I mean, it broke one of these scope caps we have for them. I mean, completely just busted it off. And we thought for sure, you know, like, hey, there's going to be something wrong with this scope, you know. We're going to look through it, and it's going to look like it's, you know, a busted mirror, you know, just broke. And then we took it and shot it, and it was completely fine. The glass in it was completely fine, and it really didn't get knocked off zero that bad. It may have got knocked off zero about like not even an inch. It wasn't even noticeable. I mean, we just moved it back over to the left a little bit, and it was right back on zero. But that was one of the only cases we had of extreme abuse for one of these rifle scopes. I would not recommend beating your rifle scope. I mean, unless you're made of money, or, you know, have people send rifle scopes to you, go for it. But for us, we don't have that kind of money, and we don't have sponsorships. So we did kind of, I mean, that was even before I was doing YouTube when we did that, and it held up. It held up getting dropped, you know, the whole weight of the rifle on top of the scope on pavement, and it didn't even, well, not pavement, concrete, and it held up and still held zero. Alright. As for complaints about this rifle scope, I don't have any at all, hardly, except for some reason on the particular one on my M1A, the eyepiece lock ring, which is this little ring right here, comes loose. I mean, I had it right there locked up, but in the field I've noticed when I move around and bump the, well, not bump, but turn the magnification ring, if I'm not careful, I could accidentally like grip the eyepiece lock ring and it start moving too, and that will make your eyepiece assembly move back and forward if this loosens up and, you know, this starts turning. But that's about the only negative I have for this scope, and so far from what I've seen, it's just been this one that's on the M1A. I've not had this problem with the one that's on my 243 or the other Redfield scope, which is put away. So overall, my opinion on the Redfield Revolution 4x12 by 40 millimeter scope, 4-12 by 40 millimeter. My opinion of it is it's a good scope. It's good quality. Everything on it's machined, and, you know, up to 100% spec. You know, it's they are nice rifle scopes. Very nice. They're precision built. I mean, even if you notice, just like the knurling on the magnification ring is nice. I mean, you can really get a good grip of it with your fingers. They are very, very well machined scopes, very well put together, and they will do what you ask them to do, whether it be for hunting or tactical rifles, you know, 3-gun, maybe. You know, target shooting, doing drills, recreation. I mean, they'll do it all. I give them a 100% A+. And the best part is they're affordable. They don't break the bank. They cost you about how much a shotgun would go for. A Maverick 88, maybe even less than that. They go for, I know I mentioned it earlier, but I'll mention it again here. $229.49 on Optics Planet for this particular model. Now, prices may vary, and I believe in the Obama years, when that gun scare for Sandy Hook was going on, I can't remember which one it was, but one of these I think was $400. But then again, you know, Obama was in office and that Sandy Hook shooting happened, and the liberals were croaking about banning guns again, and everybody freaked out. That was a chaotic time. Hopefully we don't have any more of those time periods, but with the way they are now, you never know. But I think that was the only time it was a little bit high. I may be misremembering things, so don't hold me to that. But for the most part, right now, they're pretty cheap. $229, that's not very bad. That's pretty affordable for most anybody. They're good scopes. I haven't had a problem with any of them. They're very durable, and they will hold up and do what you ask them to do. I personally wouldn't have a bit of problem, you know. I mean, I have it on my M1A. I don't do a whole lot of tactical drills and stuff, but you know, maybe when I get more time I'll do that, and do like close range shooting and follow-up shots and magazine changes. I do mostly just range stuff, and I do when I go plinking, I do some tactical-ish stuff. And even when I'm just, you know, out plinking with friends, I was able to do rapid fire follow-up shots on clay pigeons with my M1A with that scope, and I wasn't that far away when I did it. So great scope, great quality. It does what you want it to do. I could kind of consider it in my own categorization of what kind of scope this would be. It would be a all-around scope, you know. You can put it on your AR-15 and, you know, go to the deer woods. And if your state allows you to hunt with a 223, you could bag a deer, and then you could take it to the range and plink, you know, try a new loadout, and then you could take it to like a tactical event, you know, where they time you in, you go run around shooting targets, and you could use it for that too. Although for really close targets, you'd have to have an offset red dot or iron sights, you know. But you could, at a moderate distance on 4 power, you could drill a target easily and repeatedly at a closer distance. And that's pretty much what all I've got to say about the Redfield Revolution 4 to 12 by 4 to 12 by 40 millimeter. I'm sorry if in this video, if I sound nasally and I got tongue twisted a bit. It's so weird while filming this. I can actually feel myself getting sick while I was sitting here recording it. Because when I would stop the video to, you know, re-prepare another part of my, you know, review, I can actually sit here and I'm even right now feel the sinus pressure building in my nose and under my eyes. It's weird. That's all I gotta say. So I apologize for being tongue twisted and sounding nasally like I'm in the bottom of a well, but apparently I'm getting sick. So like, subscribe, rate, comment if you enjoyed this video. I try to be as honest as I can in these videos. I will not be like one of them. I will not be the type of person that will get just any product and say, oh, it's good 100% all the time. I mean, if these scopes were bad, I would have said they were bad. You know, I am honest, and I give honest opinions, and you know, base my reviews on my use of said products in the field. And we've had these scopes for a long time, so I had a lot to say about them, and so far they were, like, you know, years of experience with them, not many problems. Never really an issue with any of the scopes. Once you get them zeroed and, you know, set them up, they will stay there and they will do what you ask them to do. They are great scopes. So, like, subscribe, rate, comment. If you enjoyed this video, please feel free to check out my other videos. I am uploading on BitChute now because a viewer informed me that they do not upload automatically over there, or a video had not uploaded automatically over there like it should have. So I'm going to be actively uploading to BitChute now as well after each upload to YouTube. So if you want to follow me over there, go for it. If you're on BitChute and want to follow me on YouTube, go for it. I'm also on Google Plus. Follow me on there because I share these videos on there too to a lot of my followers. So anyway, this has been Plisken by 51mm, and I'll see you guys all in the next video.